Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
Number two is people don't like to be sold. So we don't sell people. People like to be invited. So most of us would like to buy, not usually would like to be sold. Can you differentiate between these two? I do the mistake all the time. I sell people. I don't let them buy.
Say that again. You sell people, you don't let them buy?
Yeah, I do this, like I used to do this lots of time. That's why I didn't have lots of customers early on, because I had to learn how to let people buy, not to sell them.
Buying is something they discover on their own, so it becomes their own
Focusing,
validation.
you're focusing too much on the features of what you do versus on the benefits to your client.
So which one is selling? Focusing on the feature or following on the benefits?
Which one is selling? Is
We wanna
on the features.
we wanna let them to buy.
Yeah.
Well, it's like show and tell. You want to show them, but you don't want to tell them. Right? You want to show them.
Benefits become the
options,
draw.
Lead them to choices, but they make the choices, right? You don't want to tell them which choice. They choose. They need to have the power to choose.
Okay.
We still want to lead them down the path.
Okay. However, at certain point, you may wanna pressure them to
Well, one or two options.
to buy.
Either or.
Okay. So people usually would like to be to buy. They don't like to be sold. A good example is Groupon. So Groupon, it's an example of how to make you buy. They don't sell you anything. They give you enough options, and they talk enough about the benefits for you to buy, not to be sold. This is maybe the hardest part of the game is when you are desperate and you have a solution, you are selling people. Okay? So people would like to buy, not to be sold.
You still haven't answered. What's the example of being sold versus? Because I said features, you didn't make a comment on that. Is that correct or not?
Which features is which one?
I would say features is selling.
Okay, but you want them to
You
buy.
you want them to make the decision, so therefore the benefits draw them towards that decision.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that correct?
They have a need based on benefit.
Yeah. How many of you here will have benefits in their offer before they came to these workshops? Was that clear, the benefits?
It was clear. Just now it's be more clear.
Okay, thank you.
Mine was just an authority thing. Actually, I was an authority, so I wanted to learn more.
So,
I didn't have any expectations coming in.
yes.
I did have, well,
No,
I
for
did,
for
but
describing your program before you came to these workshops, or you have this interaction with Win Your Brand, how many of you will have benefits for people to buy? So people will buy benefits. They will pay for features at the end of the day. But if you sell them features, they will not buy. So the question is, how many of you here would have or came in with benefits? Okay.
well, the benefit was to have
Did you have benefits for your
a
offer?
system, to have a program, to have a.
Yeah, but did you have a benefit of your offer? Articulated.
No.
Okay. So can you spend some time, remind yourself what are the benefits which you offer your buyers? So what are the benefits you offer your? Remember, you had one client, one right guy with one at right time with one offer. So what are the benefits you will offer? So what are the benefits? You should list how many minimum benefits. 3 to 4. 3 to 4. Why they are 3 to 4? Because the benefit on emotional triggers, there are 4 emotional triggers, that's right? People need to know about money, relationship, process, and time. So you should pick up between 3 to 4. So what is the benefits of your offer? And anybody is ready to share, let me know so we can start sharing.
Spend less time in business, more productive staff, increased margins, and finding your ideal clients faster.
So spend less time on your business.
Well, better use.
Is this is a good message? Spend less time on your business.
No, I need to have worded better because I help a lot of entrepreneurs that spend too much time doing the work of their staff that they shouldn't be because they don't know how to manage.
So
their
we call it
operations
spend what?
properly.
Spend the right time on your business.
Right time.
Pick up a different word, okay? But
Yeah.
the point is, if I tell you spend less time on your business, it means what?
Yeah.
I take you away from your business,
Or spend more time on the business, not in your business.
Yeah.
okay? Do you wanna share the benefits?
Sure. Benefits that I offer is I provide clarity around where you make money and where you're losing money. I help you improve morale within your staff and improve relationships with others so that you can increase your sales. I help you. Because I offer professional services that allows you to scale your business up sustainably, and so you can have peace of mind about your future. I support you as you cut through the core issue very quickly of all the core issues in your business very quickly.
So why you say allow you? Why you just don't say to? Just if you remove allow to.
How would I say? I allow.
Just remove it.
I.
The third one,
Yeah.
remove the word allow to. Remove the word allow.
Okay.
What do you say?
So I provide
Services to.
services to. Okay, I provide services to help you or to support you. I'm looking for that verb.
Empower?
Empower you sounds too nebulous. Sounds too new agey.
To what? What do you say to?
I help. No, sorry. I have to get that out of my vocabulary. But I provide professional services
To
to.
Support?
what you have there.
I didn't put the verb down. I just said.
Without the
clarity.
verb. Read it without the
Okay,
verb.
clarity around where you make money and where you are losing money.
Yes.
Improve morale, increase sales, scale your business up sustainably, give you a peace of mind about your future, business future, and cut through the core issue, core issues plaguing your businesses very quickly.
Okay.
Here are some of the professional services I provide that will help you grow your business, that will support your business, or
They will grow your business.
that will grow your business.
Okay.
And then I can bullet point off
Okay.
those are benefits.
So when you say they will grow your business, it shows more deterministics.
Say that again?
It shows more deterministic, like you are determined that this will grow your business.
Yes.
Not will help you growing your business. Not will support you growing your
Right,
business.
you're saying this will grow your business.
This will grow your business.
You sound a lot more confident when you say that.
Okay. And when they can apply these tools? When can they apply these tools?
What are the trigger points?
No, when they can apply any of these tools you have. What time they can apply it? When?
Apply now.
They
month
apply it
from
now, they apply it
6 months from
immediately.
now.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So this would be like the time thing. So, and so I would add that a lot of these techniques a lot of these approaches can be applied immediately, and you'll see benefits immediately. Is that what you meant?
Yes. Yep. So if you say immediately, it means I will apply these tools immediately. Sometimes we get into like building your business in 30 minutes or incorporate your business in 1 hour. That's right. This is a time thing. It triggers with so many people. So like simple technique, simple way, save the money. So what people say, save the money, easy to use, all in one folder. That's right. 1 hour registration things. That's right. And when you buy it, it's a peace of mind. Did you see this ad before? Do it yourself. Off-the-shelf folder to incorporate your business. So it's a cost-effective way because it's a all-in-one binder, and you just buy the package and you can incorporate in 1 hour. Okay. So if you didn't have benefits before you came to this table, or the benefits were not articulated well, it means you were selling. You were not letting people to buy. Okay. If you go to the product launch and the product specification sheets, which I shared with you earlier, we had these 4 benefits. So when you meet somebody, you should talk to them about the benefits. Okay? Clear? Any questions?
I think that requires reflection on the correct language to use.
Yes, and it also requires that if you have a web developer, if you have a social media activist, if you have any people who are licensing, or you pay them to do something for you, to articulate the same thing. Like, that's why when we go back, say, you should have your hand dirty in your website, because you basically want to make sure that these stuff are reflected in your website. However, we because who we are, we let this stuff go to people and we don't tell them exactly what's the benefits. So if you articulate the benefits, you can make it better. There is 300 power words I shared with you before you can use. You can basically share it with your counterpart or neighbor or friend here and see if this will work. When we talk to people, we always talk about what? About benefits. We shouldn't talk about features. We should talk about benefits. When should we talk about feature? When they are ready to buy. Okay. We also talked about objection. So if somebody will come and say, I will help you treble your business in 6 months, and someone will tell you everybody's saying the same, or he will say, oh, and you are one of those. How many of you will face this particular statement? Oh, are you one of those? Oh, are you a business coach? So how you can address this particular statement? What's your reaction to it? Let's just recap. If you sit there and say, especially for business coaches, you say, I will help you treble your business, or double the income of your business, or double your revenue in 6 months or less. So somebody say, oh, and so you are one of those, or oh, you are a business coach, or oh, I don't need that. So if somebody say you are one of those, how you will answer that?
Well, you show the testimonials and show your track record.
You say, I know how you feel.
Thank you, sir.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's not. Oh yeah.
Books.
I felt
You
the
can
same
read
way.
that. I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I know how you feel. I know how you see it. My customers, before they sign up for my service, they seen it in the same way. And you know what? Maybe some of them, maybe because I heard this few times. However, when they bridge, or they walk over the fear bridge and they sign up for my service, I was able to demonstrate 1, 2, 3.
So it is a testimonial, but you're bridging how you can get the testimonial.
Remember, feel, felt, found. It has to be in your mind all the time.
feel, felt, and versatility.
Found.
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 No, I feel I felt the same way. This is what I found.
Yeah, but not I. So I know how you feel. My customers felt the same at the first introduction. However, they found, or when they join my services, or when they join my professional services,
There you go.
okay, you cannot articulate it. If you cannot articulate it from your heart, it will be so superficial. That's why I always jump with this particular objection. Say, well, you had this objection before, and then everybody like you come say, oh yeah, and they will just show them. No, you don't. You just be cool. Say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, not all business coaches are the same. Okay, and it's very crowded when you go to like accountant. Like I remember I shared with you the example before. I went to this particular meetup, and there was an accountant, like 6 or 7 accountants. And each one was like, oh, what are you doing? I'm accountant. Then what? Like, can you tell me what accountant is doing for me? And they sat together as accountants, and they left the meetup together because they were from the same company. So I couldn't understand exactly. So why did they come to the meetup? It's just to hand in business card, and they did not make a reflection. So even when you go back, and somebody like me, very good with photographic memory, I remember faces. But these individuals, I did not even remember anything about them, except the first 2. The rest was just commonality that just went through. And 2-3 months later, I met the other people, and they said, "Oh, we met you before." And I said, "Oh yeah, who are you?" And then when they said accountant, I remember. This was the accountant. So when you talk about the benefits, you have to be fluent. You have to shift your message. You have to repeat with yourself. Stand in front of the mirror. Video record you and send us the video recording. Talk to people. Like grab someone and say, you know what, I will just articulate the benefit till it gets from your heart. It gets from your subconscious mind to unconscious mind to the null conscious mind, whatever mind you don't have to think about it, just it comes, you spell it. This is what I'm doing. If you don't believe in it, nobody will trust you on that. That's right. If you don't believe in it, nobody will trust you on that. Does this make sense? So the formula right now is we have if we have the right audience plus the right offer or the right promise plus the right time, what is the outcome of this formula?
Success.
Decline.
It's irresistible offer. Offer that you cannot refuse. That's right.
Yep.
So if I establish I'm in front of the right audience, can you control the audience to be right or wrong?
Yeah, you can.
Good point.
How?
By your targeted market.
Targeted market.
Okay, so when you know your general, when you know your audience, you know they are the right audience or not. So many of us will get stuck in these organizations where everybody's trying to sell to each other.
Yeah.
Many of us will go to these particular network groups where everybody's trying to sell to everybody.
Nobody
What's
was
the
buying
second
what was
one?
the-
Right
Right promise,
promise.
okay? So right audience, so you must be in front of the right audience. And the right audience must be qualified as paying customers. They don't have to pay right away, but they must have a way to access money. Because we are not doing stuff for
Free.
free. Okay? The right promise. How you stand the right promise? By articulating
Benefits.
the benefits, not the feature. Okay? And you have to be at the right time. How you create the right time? When is the right time for any customers to buy from you?
When you tell them.
Right now. Right now, when you tell them.
Yeah.
So this will simplify your role because your goal will be to establish that's right, there is an urgency in the right time right now. And in our structure before, we talked about the right time. We talked about how to create urgency, how to create bonuses, how to add on. So if I want to create the offer has basics, and the basics will go to be, what are you selling? So what are you selling? This will be what? Features. So what are you selling now?
Professional service.
In your case, is a training program or is a training workshop
It's a training program.
or training workshop, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. Okay. So what are you selling? So what are you selling, John?
Why, how?
What are you selling? Not I'm help. What are you selling?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry to corner you guys, you know,
that's good.
but we are here in a safe environment. So,
Yeah.
what are you selling?
I'm so confused with everything right now.
Why? What are you selling? What will make me pay you money?
So just maybe what will help is the distinction you made between benefits and features. Benefits are intangible, features are tangible.
Yes.
Talking about our program or
Features.
You talk about what are you selling?
Are you selling a course?
Is it a
Selling-
course? Is it a one-on-one?
Oh, okay. I'm still putting that together. I haven't decided yet. So, I don't know.
So what are you selling? You must decide. You know, if you decided at the very beginning at one way,
Yeah.
by now you may decide this is the right way or I have to change. Okay?
Yeah.
The undecidable factor of what are you selling, it will spell out that you are uncertain of how people will pay you money. So what are you selling?
Training program.
So training program, okay? So training program. How can you feature it more? Can you add more features to it? How long is the training program?
2 sessions of 2 hours each.
So it's a 4 hours training program, 2 sessions of 2 hours each. 4 sessions of 1 hour each doesn't matter, you know, like it doesn't matter.
No, it's 2.
It's half a day, it can be also half a day, it doesn't matter. But this is one factor, is like I'm offering a training program or a training session. Okay? So what are you offering?
I'm offering an online webinar.
It's an online webinar or online training system.
And is it live or is it,
No, in his case it will be online,
but it'll be live or it'll be pre-recorded?
pre-recorded online.
Or could be four live webinars.
So
Over 4 weeks.
4 live webinars will be a training program or a
Okay.
training package.
Okay.
Okay? So when you offer these courses, they are courses, they are programs, they are courses, they are training courses or training programs. Okay? Online training courses.
Okay, because the first part is going to be the test and measure part to make sure that I've identified the right market. Right, so 4 maybe weekly webinars.
So when we talk here,
Yeah.
this is the program.
Right.
So this is the 4 the weekly the weekly meeting or the weekly webinar.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you do the intro webinar or seminar here, is to see how many people will sign up for the 4 weeks courses, right? Which is delivered 1 hour or 1 hour and a half via a webinar.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So, is it a 1 session webinar or 1 session, or it's a training course or it's a training program, or is a 4 weeks program? Like there are 28 days program. So what's the difference between 28 days program and 4 weeks program? Mr.
One-
28.
One's
What's
probably daily. One's probably
High volume.
no 28 days? He has only 4 sessions. It's weekly.
21 days is only 4 sessions.
Yeah, 21 days. Sorry, 21 days.
It's 4 sessions.
It's 4 sessions, but it's 21 days program.
Yeah.
It's still 1 hour online or webinar or pre-recorded sessions.
Okay.
So why did he pick up 21 days? Because his target market understands that 21 days are needed for personality change or for emotional change. Okay?
Shift the habit. 21 days.
Actually sounds better than 4 weeks.
It sounds better than 4 weeks.
4
Or
weeks
3
is
weeks.
way too long.
So yeah, so the caveat there is that I call it 4 sessions.
Yes.
So what I do is I give them homework in between so that it becomes 21 days. So I'm not engaged 21 days. I'm engaged only 4 times,
Yeah.
but they get homework for 21 days. So they're engaged in 21 days, and that's the distinction. So if you're going to say 21 days, but you're only providing 4 sessions, and there's no homework in between or workbooks or that they need to do in between, then that might be deceiving. So just something to keep in mind.
And in your business, it cannot be 21 days because it's doing business oriented. It's just doing the relationship.
Right.
Like my program is 12 steps because 12 steps will take for recovery.
Yours would more if it's a 2-hour session each time or 1-hour session, it's a 4-hour online course delivered over 4 weeks, something like that, or whatever you want, or at your pace.
And we are not deciding here how you call it or what you call it. What are we talking about it here is just,
Features.
it's not features, it's just proposal, like how somebody will accept. How when you say this, somebody will take it. You know, remember the entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, solopreneur, it's the same concept. So what's your program?
Okay, but now I know what we're talking about. Sorry. But I still don't know because of time constraint where I do a workshop or I do a seminar and then just do one-on-ones out of the seminar. So what I wrote last Monday after I mentioned it, so 3-day workshop, changing your path, goals, and technology, and each day is 4 hours. And the first day is on intro with self. So in the morning they understand themselves. In the afternoon they work through their problem, past, present, and future. On day 2 they work through fears, frustrations, inhibitions in the morning. In the afternoon they go away with goals, alignments, and realignment for the future. And on day 3 they do their small business technology and choices. In the afternoon they go away and do business plans and their new business. So they come out with the complete structure. And then I had 4 manuals and 2 bonus manuals.
Okay, this is great. However, what you are describing here, is it the product, the program you are offering, or the workshop introducing the other offer you have?
That's the workshop. I did
So-
a 3-day workshop.
Is this 3 days workshop your offer, or you are offering another product after it?
I was going to do a 16-week online program
Okay.
where I wrote down all this week. So I have to do YouTube videos for each of these, not YouTube videos, but some type of videos for Vimeo for each of these areas.
So your program is 16 weeks here,
Yeah.
and you offer the intro to it is the workshops.
3-day workshop. Yeah.
So all the discussion we have today on the program.
Okay. That's what I wrote. That's what I spent this week doing, but I forgot what we're doing because I got stuck in fears and benefits. And all I was thinking about was
Okay.
benefits and features.
So what are the benefits of the 16 weeks?
Well, they go through an entire transformation of understanding themselves, their business, technology, and how to control technology better to improve their business in benefits of cost and self-productivity.
Okay, that's good.
So they can run multiple companies if they wanted to, or multiple locations,
That's good.
and expand their business in multiple better technology. Yeah.
So you are selling 16 weeks programs, right?
Yeah.
I was on Linda yesterday, which it's amazing. It's free. It's a very nice platform for education for IT, and it's very interesting because they do have 76 hours courses with certificate, a 76 hours certification program. So they certify people after watching 67 hours worth of video. And as funny as it sounds, if you start the video and just click it to the end, you'll get certification. So it's very interesting. However, this is also another way. Is another way I say I do have that much hours of video for training. What's the difference between 16 weeks? Let's say 16 times 4, 64, and I say I have a 64 hours. So assume 16 weeks and assume you'll do 4 hours per week. Okay, just an example. Okay, I'm not telling you to do 4 hours, but just.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between I say 16 weeks program or 64 hours?
The way I have that is because every week they have homework, so
I understand, but what's the difference between 64 weeks,
Right.
sorry, 16 weeks, or the label of 16 hours training,
64 hours.
64 hours, thank you, 64 hours training services.
The bigger the number, the better it looks, right?
What's the difference in perception?
64 hours is a lot.
But
Is it
how?
all at once? Is it, how is it broken down?
Yeah, so if I have 64 hours, I can finish them in 1 week if I decide to. Technically, if I have the time, I can spend them in 3 days if I don't sleep, okay? Because 3 days is 72 hours. So when somebody labels a program with 64 hours, it means they are independent. I can rush myself through it in a couple of weeks. I can be done with it, or 10 days, 6 hours each.
Yeah.
But when someone says 16 weeks, it means what? You must devote 3 months.
But I will plan in parts, so it can be broken in parts. Because one session is for the self, the individual.
You notice now you are not selling one thing. Now you are trying to
Right.
go back to the where you came from, which basically is so much details.
Right.
So what are you selling? It must be a sentence. I'm selling a,
Okay.
and
Exactly.
okay. So what are you selling?
A 3-day weekend workshop.
That's it. 3 days weekend workshop. You wanna add more qualifiers? How many hours?
24 hours.
24 hours, or 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day maybe sound better than 24 hours, right? Lunch included. You get material. This all are qualifier. So what are you selling? Okay. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about having different tiers like VIP and the general and stuff like that, they are still within what are you selling. Like within what are you selling, you can have tiers. You can have general, you can have VIP, you can have preferred.
If you're selling a workshop, obviously,
And if you are not selling a workshop, what you can do?
different levels of membership.
Gold, platinum, silver. Okay? Does it make sense? So when you offer, when I say what are you selling, you must sell one thing, and one thing only. It goes back to the ignorant model. It can be. Remember also that we talked about the island. So if I'm selling one thing, I can add more value and sell. I can add more value, but I'm not selling
Disparate.
3 islands, because 3 islands needs bridges. This is the sign of a bridge on a map. Bridges means you need more communication. So what are you selling? You are selling one thing. Nothing wrong with adding and upselling. At any moment you talk about one offer, you talk about one thing. Is it a workshop? Is it a training program? Is it a seminar? Is it a webinar? Is it a one-on-one? It doesn't matter what is it. But when you describe, I'm not sure how many of you have a photographic memory, but you should remember this graph. When you describe to somebody at any time, whatever you do, you should talk about one of these ticks. Nothing wrong to come and say, oh, you know what? And I have also another offer I can share with you, which is my 7 days workshop. And by the way, we also have a third offer which is not popular, but it's 5 hours, whatever. So you can navigate through these, but you have to connect the navigations by changing their perception to what are you talking about. So you are offering 4-hour sessions, or 2 sessions 2 hours each, or 4-hour sessions over 2 hours, over 2 times. This is what are you selling. What else can you do? You say, oh, and we also offer or I also offer but it's not popular, or I also offer but I'm not doing it now, or so we get confused because we want to, when we see somebody is interested to buy, we start to sell them everything. Does it make sense? And there are individual in town here who's trying to put a business support team, and he is the same problem. When he go in and he say, yeah, we sell you. He doesn't say we sell you a membership where you get like videos, you get. He say, yeah, we will do for you a video. We will get you people to do your bookkeeping and accounting, and then we have marketing people, and we have this guy who will put your ad in all the bars. It's just too much. Why you don't just come and say, I sell you a 1-year membership for $500, and as a benefits for this membership, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you sign up for a VIP, you will get 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of.
I don't think about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is what you can. Anybody wants to share what they sell? Or you are okay? Can move on. The second question will be is how much does it cost, or how much is the investment in it? Which word we should use, cost or investment?
Investment.
Investment, okay? So how much does it cost? How much what you offer will cost? Or will people will invest in it? Anyone wants to throw numbers?
$297.
$297. Why is 97? Why is not 93? Why is not 99?
It's psychologically not the best number.
Because somebody did a study and they found out that 97 is it gives a better thing. Okay. Is this just sufficient information? What's missing?
So just on the 97, I think if you're going business to consumer, that works. If you're doing business to business, that comes across as just a gimmick, like a Walmart gimmick. So I don't know. Just my.
And this goes back to what we call it, know your audience.
So mine would be $500 a week.
Okay. So. Which one you want to use? You want to use the let's call it 300 for now, okay? Just because these are just pickup numbers. These are just random numbers, not something you should sell at. However, if you talk about 300, so there is a proposal here that 300 will be better to business than 297. Okay, is it right? Is the right point or not?
Well, 297, there seems to be a lot of packages they have online for that, but 300 a week would be more of a one-on-one.
Okay. How do we know if this is right perception for us or not? By offering it and see the feedback out of it. I don't know.
Well, the one
But there's a one thing here is missing. Just before we wanna go here. There is something here which goes back to Canada. We call it
GST.
okay. So when you talk to somebody, it's a 297 GST included. It means what? You are giving him a favor. Okay. But if I give you 300 plus GST,
Extra cost.
why?
There's something extra they have to pay. Not
But they get it back.
business to
they
business
don't
gets it back.
here. Just
Okay.
technology thing. Under there. It's
So here GST included is a favor. Here GST for us GST HST is a pain. Is a huge pain for us to do it, to be honest with you, because when you sell online you have all this kind of weird stuff. So we prefer to do it included. And I had so many accountants who will come to me and say, "Oh, you can increase your money by making it outside." I said, "So how much will it cost me to track it down?" You know, that will cost you more at certain point. It's up to you what you want to do. So for me, just the sales in Canada are very small, like less than 5% or less of what I do. So I don't judge GST. And only Canadian, which is we can count them, less than 80 people, I believe.
You don't charge GST, but you still have to pay it.
Outside Canada, I don't charge GST. I don't pay it.
Outside Canada.
Outside Canada.
But in Canada you do.
Canada I do, yeah.
If you
And so the point I want to say here is, it will confuse a non-Canadian buyer when they see GST. It will confuse them. So if you sell in the US, you cannot have GST. If you sell in Australia or in Europe, you have VAT, which is complete different things. But because we are not European based, we don't pay VAT, value added tax. So when we say here, sales taxes included, people will have less resistance because they know we are doing them a favor. At our operational side, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but don't report me to CRA, okay? At our side is only Canadian, which we can count about 80 or less individuals or suppliers, customers actually, where they pay us the GST and we deal with them, with the government. We pay them back. Okay? So if you are offering overseas or outside Canada, you have to consider sales tax. You have to have it somewhere. Okay? Anyone wants to put final thoughts on sales tax?
I think if you're under a certain threshold, you don't have to collect GST. Is that correct? It's like that $32,000.
30,000.
30,000.
As long as you don't have a number. Once you can apply for a number at $1,000, and once you own a number, you have to charge it.
The question to you.
But above 30,000, you must obtain a GST number.
The question to you. Do you want your client to know that you are below 30,000?
Oh, you gotta charge them GST every time.
Or Sally putting it. Yeah.
You must have a number.
Yep.
Like I had a business which we didn't have any transactions for 3-4 years whatsoever, but the business has a number, and we were always sending back 0, 0, 0, 0. Everything was zeros. And the guys give me a call and I said, like, it doesn't make sense. I said, no, it's just this is basically a shelf company. That's it. We don't do anything with it.
But you might someday.
It came to work after 3 some years or 2 some years. It came to work. But for me, it's very standard. Like whenever I start a company, it's very straightforward. I had a GST number, I had an import-export number, and employee numbers. Doesn't matter. And then once they send me the notice, I put in the back, temporarily, we're not doing it. They give me a phone call and that's it. And I have the numbers. Anybody will go check me out, they will find me having numbers. And this is a question, like one other issue, if you deal with Infusionsoft and different sales platform, you will find that these GSTs are very, it's not trivial to put it out as a full information. So many of you will contact with me and I'll just give them a GST number confirmation that this is the GST included in the pricing. Because there's so many, there is the easiest way of doing it. Not the cleanest way maybe, not the best way, not the most effective way according to what Mike can tell us from this perspective, but this is one way I like to do it because this is less than 5% of what I do in Canada. So if you don't do much in Canada, you may want to consider doing something like this. On a $30,000 issue, do you want your customer to know that you don't do $30,000 sales a year? Will they trust you? Yes or no? Okay? And that's why each one should must have a business name, a business number, a GST number, all kind of numbers.
And a business address.
and the business address. It's all about perception. Because when people receive you are a good guy, they will sit on their own and they will have perception. The perception will iterate and look around and ask about you, and then they will retain that they need to work with you. They will call you up to work with you. If anything will break, it means you are waiting for like there was a guy here who used to come here, if you remember the solar panel guy, he got a job in the oil and gas industry. So why you don't see him coming back? That's right. So if people will realize that you are doing this till you get a job back to the industry, will they hire you? Okay. So this is one way to show commitment. Anything else about so when you talk about how much will it cost, you have to understand a couple of things. There are so many people who look around. I like your thing about the because there's individuals who will come to me and say, no, I'm not paying you 97, I just appear that lump sum. And these people came from business backgrounds.
Well, my kind of gauge for the business to business thing is, see, I have a client who charges in round numbers. He charges round numbers, he charges GST, he charges travel time going there and back when he flies to the cities. So I'm just looking at that saying, well, he's used to that, so I'm going to charge him round numbers as well.
Yep.
You know, so that's my gauge. If that person is charging round numbers, then that's my kind of permission to charge round numbers. Then I don't have to play with 297 and stuff.
And how do you know he charged the right numbers? By asking him questions.
Yeah.
By exploring. Remember, our cost for the service should be the last thing to discuss with anybody. Okay?
Along those lines, remember when gas was $140 a barrel? You know, your suppliers were increasing their costs, and they were saying this is a gas tax or whatever they were calling it. And so everybody was charging that because we got permission to do that.
Okay? Any questions? Any more discussions? Okay. You have to be able, if you remember when we talked about the products, features, we talked about 4 types of features. We talked about the basic features, the extended, the extra. We talked about the bonuses,
And the add-ons.
or add-ons, and then bonuses, okay? So this is what we talked about. So this is the core or the basic. You also need to understand that your price or your cost has to have the cost, which is MRSPs. You may have to offer a special, and you may need to get a special discount, and you may want to throw in one time only. So you basically need to have 4 different costs or prices in your mind. And I know this particular point, so many people cannot put their heads around it. So when you talk about 297,
Right.
which one of these will be? What is the absolute minimum?
The absolute minimum is 97.
Absolute minimum is 97. And where is the 297 I will put? Is the MRSPs? Oh, sorry, which one you target to sell at? In these 4 categories. Usually, you will be looking for some here and a little bit here. Okay? So, you have your workshop. Is your workshop by head or by company?
It can be either or.
It cannot be either or. It has to be one, and the other is an option, is a bonus.
Okay.
Okay? It cannot be. From now on, we shouldn't talk about options. Is it per head? It's per head. It can be per head.
Yes.
And then for companies, you give what? A promotion to include 2 or 3 for the price of 2. That's right. It can work like that. Or you include one and the other one is free. So you cannot say either or. You have to say, here is my pricing. It's a 297. I'll pick up this number for now, a head. But you know what? Because you are a nice company, what I will do for you guys? I will get you one and the second one 50%. Or I will get you one and the second one is free. Does it make sense? So what's your cost? Or what's your investment?
$400 for the.
So $400 is which one? $3, $2? You understand now this
Yeah.
labeling?
Yeah. So it's the first one, MSRP.
So the MRSP. So if the MRSP is 400, what kind of discount you can provide? So usually we say it's normally sells for.
So are you talking value of the entire program?
This is what people pay. This is what people pay you money for.
Because at the end of my presentation or my seminar, I want to move. I want them to come in at 97.
Okay, so
but after I've got to that. But as far as if we're going to look at a value proposition, I mean that could easily be $2,000 at the top.
no, this is not a value. This is a price. Like the product is listed out there at this pricing. This offer is normally priced at $400. I'm giving you now a promotion, or I'm giving you now a discount, so it will be $350, for example. And you know what? Because you are a nice company and you want to sign 3 people, I will let you pay 2 at $350. However, the third one will not get a workbook. Do you care if they get a workbook or not?
Yeah.
But I would not give them workbooks. They can pay. They can buy $50 extra for the workbook. So basically, or $100 extra for the workbook. So basically, you can make your $800 2 heads, and you teach 3. That's right. So when you have a price, this is a cost. This is a hard cost. This is not a value. This is
Okay. Wow.
this is a hard cost. So when you talk about somebody has a $400 listing price, so this is listing price,
Okay.
MSRP.
Yeah.
So is it $400? How much discount you can offer?
So mine still holds then, right?
Yeah, yours will be here $297, for example.
$100.
Okay.
So if you offer $100, so the second tier will be $300. And if somebody will come and give you like 20 people in, or 10 people in, how do you give another offer?
Yeah.
So you need to focus in creating these costs in a way that it does not take away from your profit. So for me, if anybody come to make a joint venture or to sell my product, how much commission will I pay? So the need for this kind of structure for cost is driven by so many factors. One of them, if you want to build commission. So I tell somebody you can market my program and you'll get commission. If you want to build a joint venture, okay? If you want to build a GV, how much commission you pay for the GV?
Sometimes up to 50%.
Sometimes actually up to 100%.
Or 100%, yeah.
You know, so a GV will take between 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 90, 100%. Okay? So that's why you need to have this structure. Sometimes you meet somebody and you really see him as a potential good testimonial for you or a breakthrough in a specific market. But if he does not come and give you money, it means he's not committed. So you can offer him at a lower entry. Okay? If you do your videos, how much will be incremental cost of playing your videos? 1 cent? What is the incremental cost if you did your videos already? What is the incremental cost of creating or playing back your videos?
Depends.
1 cent.
Well, if it's on Amazon, yeah. But if it's on YouTube that you've got unlisted and you just send the links, it doesn't cost you anything.
So it's 1 cent. It doesn't cost you anything, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you have your online system already recorded, what is the lowest cost you can sell it at? What is the lowest value you can sell it at? You can always get it for free because it's already recorded, right? So once you finish your return of investment, and that's why I love the fact is you can record. Like some of my recording from last year and the year before, I offer them for free now. They come under my podcasts and some other aspect because these are like 2 years old recording. However, one lady the other day was telling me like, you looked handsome and awesome in the video. Now you're looking a little bit young. That's why I just changed my hair color for a little bit because this was one of the comments I got last weekend. She said you looked younger in the videos. You looked awesome. I was like, this is only 2 years ago. She said, yeah, but now you look like an old guy. I said, oh, sorry. Anyway. Okay, so how many pricing you can have? This is one thing you have to answer. So can you spend like 2-3 minutes and articulate your formula? What? So what's your workshop cost? What people will pay you for your workshop?
I had a structure in place depending on the number of people attending.
And this is exactly what one of the aims from here.
Okay, so the workshop itself, what I want to do is say it's a 3-day workshop. I want to reap $5,000 from it. Depending on how many attendants you will have in there, then the cost per head goes down. As long as in the end I have $5,000, I'm happy.
That is good. This is good strategy, and this exactly what
You're getting it.
I'm getting at it. This is one formula. Say my bottom line is $5,000 net profit per day or per 3 days.
Yeah.
This is a good strategy. The question is, what is the minimum to get you this $5,000? At what rate?
It's up to you to put the people in it.
Yeah. So what is the minimum? It will be 10 people
10 people at 500.
at $500
Yeah.
plus, but you have to discount the expenses.
There has to be a minimum there as well.
But you have to discount the expenses. So how much expenses do you have? Like renting the room in a hotel and stuff like that.
Yeah, all that stuff, yeah.
That's right. So if we say the expenses is $2,000, so which means you have 10 people at 700. Will break even. Will get you what you want.
Or 20 at 350.
Or 20 at 350. Or 10 at 500 and 20 at 350. That's right. Some numbers like that.
Yeah.
So you should go and schedule what is the pricing that you can offer your service at.
You should go where?
Right now, you should just, if you have the structure already, you are done.
Yeah.
But for other people, if you can just highlight how much. There are some individuals may have some restrictions because programs they license, they have some restrictions on what is the minimum they can charge or what is the charging formula.
But if I'm doing a live event, I can probably use that. If I'm doing a webinar, I don't think I can use that.
You can still use that in a webinar because on the webinar, when you look at, if you use the structure we have for selling presentations, there will be, this is listed at MRSP. It's not discounted only for this group. Till 5 o'clock will be that time.
Yeah.
And the first 3 will get that price. So this is a way to persuade people to sign up for your program. If you remember this booklet,
I remember it. I just don't know how to deliver it.
you just come up with the numbers. So what is the numbers you have? So the 297, is this the MRSP or this what you want to sell at on the average?
I don't know.
You have to come up. You have to make a decision. And the way it works is you make a decision, you offer it, and see how many people will subscribe. And if people will not subscribe, you can ask the question why you are not subscribing. If they tell you it's too expensive, what you do? you should revise your pricing. If you find so many people subscribing at the price, you can increase it for next round to make sure you are not underpricing yourself. Okay? There is no difference between a $10,000 accountant and a $500 accountant. Both of them are doing the same accounting. The one who is doing $10,000, he's charging companies which are making a couple of million profit. The one who charges $500, he charges companies which they don't make $500,000 profit. Both of them, they do the same work. Both of them, they do the same QuickBooks. Both of them, they spend the same amount of hours. There is no difference. Now, can you go to a $10,000 accountant who have time to give him 500? Yes, you can. I did it before, and I did the same for a realtor. I used to have a realtor who I give him transactions, and he will charge me $500 as a commission or whatever I'm getting. And he doesn't spend much time on it. So you should be able to structure your pricing based on 2 or 3 or 4 tiers. So you can accommodate joint venture, you can accommodate urgency, one-time fees, very special people, but you know that you have room. So when you come and say it's a $97 program, how much can you go down on $97 program?
I can go down to $5. Or
Yeah, but what will make sense for you?
what would make sense for me?
Yeah, because if you go all the way down to $5,
Yeah.
do you think Rob will come by you again
97?
97?
No.
Especially Rob, that's right?
Especially this guy's a
I know.
So I think something like 77
I'm a donut.
or
I'm free donuts.
Yeah. So this is one of the
Buy your
things.
donut.
This is one of the things you guys need to understand is when you deal with this kind of structures, people will talk among each other. So you need to make sure what are the minimum you can charge for your program, and you have to adjust this minimum based on where you offer the program.
Isn't there another aspect of psychology where if you charge more, you're perceived as more qualified and more professional?
Yes, in front of people who can afford to pay more. Like, if you charge more in front of people who can afford paying more, yes, it can be.
Then if they find out that others are paying less, they say, why are you charging me more?
Because if they got the value, they will not ask these questions. If people get an extreme value, they will not ask these questions. Okay? The point I want to conclude this and leave it at is the only price is correct for your service. That's what people is willing to pay. And the large number of people will pay you. How to establish this price? I can start with initial proposal, and I understand that I have to discount, and further discount at least 4 times. For joint venture, which undisclosed discounts, for bonuses, for people who are on the verge to try to fill the room, whatever it is. But you must have a floor price. You will not be selling this less than that at all. When you do this offer and you run it for 6 weeks or 6 months, and you see lots of people signing in, you may tend to increase the prices in the next year. Or you may tend, if people don't sign for it, you may want to reduce a little bit till you find this comfort zone where people are willing to pay you money for. Okay? Make sense?
You know what I've seen in the new age area is when someone on a webinar and saying it costs, in this case it was $47. And then another button saying, for those who cannot afford to pay that, pay $7. And it was very interesting. Is they said if you can afford to pay the $47, but this is for people who we think it's very important for everyone to know this. It doesn't cost them any more. It'd be interesting for me to reach out to them and say, well, how many $7 people did you get? And how many $47 people did you get? I actually had one instance where I offered, I said my program was $147, but I'm going to do it for $97 to all the people who came to this particular workshop. The guy actually paid me $147. He says, no, I can afford that. So it's very interesting out there if you use that. Now this goes to the general business to consumer type of.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is basically in a relationship thing. So I used to run a business where we go to people and say, are you willing to pay for yourself and sponsor others? So people will come and just pay like buy five tickets. And they basically don't show up at all. So somebody will put like $500 or like $1,000 on 5 tickets, and they will give them out.
Yeah, it's like people buy a tape.
It's just like when companies will buy tables.
Yeah.
But it was interesting as we say, like we will go there and say, we have these people and we know they will take values from these programs, and are you willing to donate 5 tickets or 4 tickets? So, and this particular business, nobody will know who are the donee. They donate to who. We were managing it. So there in the relationship and transformational and stuff like that, there's so many interesting things. We always hear about individuals who will stand in line and pay the coffee for somebody behind them, right? Or pay the coffee for somebody like on a drive-through or something. Like what's the rationale?
Or buy donuts or muffins for others.
Yeah, I've seen that at Tim Hortons twice. Oh, the people ahead of you paid for you. Oh, and they didn't know what I got.
I do that about once a month. I do that.
You do?
Yeah.
Remind me next time you go, I'll be behind you.
I was just saying that. Words with you more often.
I want 50 donuts to go.
The drive-through.
How do you pay for people behind you if they don't know what you're giving?
The drive-through.
They've already,
Well,
they've
so
already
if you're-
placed their order, right? They already know what the amount is.
Yeah. They
Or
know
you
what
can
it
say,
is.
I'll pay $10 towards whatever.
Oh,
you want.
towards what? Okay, that I understand. Because like you say,
Yeah.
that would make sense.
You just get to the window and say, how much is the guy's order behind? Okay, add that to my card, or get from me 20.
Oh, I got you.
Because they've already placed their order, right?
Right, on a drive-through, not on
Drive-through, yeah.
not on a walk-up session.
So the question now is, if you have this pricing model, who will take immediate action on this offer? Like if you are offering, we call it $297, that's right?
Yeah.
And we call it here $300. So who will take immediate action on this $297 offer?
When they're ready.
Who will?
Who will? Those
Yeah.
that see value, immediate benefits.
So who will? Like, is it somebody doing what? Like, what's their characteristics?
Cheap ass mofo on the right,
They
normal
see
person on the left.
They see value.
Yeah, but who will? Like,
Who will?
Who will?
Bargain hunter on the right, normal person.
No, these are the same offer, but this is for business to business, and this business
Me
to
on the right is
consumer.
what I'm trying to say.
I'm hearing
Those that fulfill the right audience, right promise, right time.
Okay.
If they see all 3 of those, they're in.
So if you identify these people and you talk to them, you should be able to get them to sign. That's right. So are these the business owners? Are this is the managers in these companies? Are this the site managers in these companies? Usually when you talk to business, you want to make sure that the people have budget. And if somebody will come and say, we have no budget for that, what you say?
I know how you feel.
When someone will say, I have no budget for this, for such a service, what you say?
I know how you feel. Many of my clients felt that they didn't have the budget until they saw how I could help them create more profits, more margin, so they can pay me for my services.
Yep. Yep.
Got 'em.
Yep. Or you can say, I know you don't have a budget. However, I'm here to learn about you and your business and show you what I can. So would you mind, I can help you finding budget or finding access to fund so you can pay me if you have.
That works too.
Okay? So the bottom line is, any of these are valid objections, and you have to be ready to respond to these objections. Okay? The other questions which we'll have is what is the primary benefit of your offer and what are the secondary benefits of your offer, which we went through it. And which went through this primary and secondaries, right? Each one of you must have more than two. Then what is the main objection? Why people won't buy your product? So what is the main objection for your products?
Too expensive.
Too expensive.
Mm.
Who else has different objection?
I'm gonna say the same.
I have one. It's not for me.
Is not for me.
I don't need it.
Okay.
You said the same thing.
Oh, is it?
It's not for me.
It's not for me, and I don't need it. Is it?
Be original.
No, I was trying to.
Be
add on to
original.
yours.
I'm asking you to be original.
So what other objections you guys have for business? For selling your
Don't have time to attend.
I need to talk to my wife. She wears the pants in the family.
So you must be able to understand these objections. So if somebody would say, I have to talk to my wife, what's your counter?
Or you say you can cancel within 48 hours once you talk to your wife. Or here's something that you can take so that you can have a conversation, or bring your wife and let's have a three-way conversation so that I can answer her questions that may be unique from your questions.
Which one of whatever he said make more sense?
Well, all of it made more sense. Right?
Why don't we talk to both of you together?
Okay. Why do you need to talk about them together?
So they're receiving the same message.
Will they expect to see the same message?
No, because she's gonna be working on emotion, and he's gonna be working on money.
Okay. So before we elaborate on this answer, we have to understand what kind of money we talk about. So if we talk about $5,000 plus offer, the offer is big. And just for people who are looking for to start business at 97 and 147 and 149 and this kind of numbers, they may not have this particular activity. However, if you sell $5,000 plus offer, and the guy or someone wants to talk to the spouse, or these three categories, they want to talk to each other, this one of them will be brain oriented, one of them will be heart oriented. So they will not. She will go to him and say, "Honey, how did you feel about that?" "Oh, I think it's not really good." She didn't ask him, "How do you think?" or "What do you think?" She asked him, "How do you feel?" But he always refer to as he thinks. So this dialogue needs to be moderated by you. If you are in the 5,000 plus level, there are people who sell $60,000 investment packages, and they must have this If you are selling a few $100 offer, what you will do? You will give them material so they can discuss it, and you can give them a phone number, or you can give them a source to talk about. Maybe in your business, if you don't sell to small business owners, you will not have. They will always tell you, "We have to talk. We have to clear it with our boss." So the immediate answer will be, "Oh, okay, that's great. I know you have a sales cycle and decision hierarchy. Would you mind schedule a meeting so I can share my offer with your boss?" "Oh, he's so busy." "It's great. I know everybody's busy, but I'm also available for 15 minutes conversation. Would you mind putting him on a speakerphone with you in the room so I can answer any questions, so he feels that I care about your company, and you bring me as a trusted supplier. Nobody will say no if you try to show the guy that he brings a trusted supplier. Nobody will say no for that. But if you say, oh, let me get me on a conference call with him, and you stop, nobody will give you a conference call. Okay? Does it make sense? So you must know the objections. If you don't know the objections, how you get them?
By testing the market.
By asking questions. Why you guys don't buy? Do you want to talk about any other objections? If you talk about the too much money, how you make it to work? How you address it's too expensive?
You counter with benefits.
You counter with benefits against if they don't take actions right now.
Yeah.
So
What about testimonials?
you know. So if somebody will say it's too expensive, one of the questions is compared to what is too expensive. Compared to it. Do you understand? If you don't sign up right now, you will experience 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Does it make sense?
Can it be perceived as a threat?
No. It's a persuasion. You have to persuade them.
Like, why can't they benefit from your service later down the road?
Because if you leave the windows open, more flies will get in. So if you identify the need and they are convinced that they need this service and you don't close the sales right now, guess what? Whoever coming after you will have the sale. There is a book called Selling for Others, or like selling and others will close some. It was like, it described it like, I will come and highlight I spent enough time to educate you on what my technology will do. And I'm not able to get you to close. Guess who will getting who is getting the sale from you?
The lowest price.
It's the next guy who will knock the door, who may not even have the same value product, and it may be more expensive, but because I did the work for them, they will come in and close the sale. How many of you experienced that before?
Yeah.
So this guy will talk about emotional sales or whatever it is, and he will spend so much time paving the road to somebody in town who's selling something similar in a different meaning, and this guy will come in and just take it. And this is why in educational sales, you have to be in a market where you are the only one, and exclusively the only one who has such a service. Imagine you have Facebook, and Facebook was educating people. Actually, the new statistics came about Facebook is not the most desirable platform. And there's I think it's Lehman or Liedman. They released a report very recently, and they said that Facebook is not popular as before, and social media overall is not popular and is not trusted. People don't trust media and messages coming through them. So someone was on a talk show was just describing this report. So if you come and educate your customers or your client why they need your service, and you don't close them, the next guy in line will get the contract. So are you here in the business of selling somebody else's services? Okay? So if you have a target audience, you must get there close as soon as you can. Otherwise, you leave the window open, and the more the window's open, more flies are coming in. Okay? Do you want to discuss any of these other objections? If somebody would say it's not for me, or I don't need that. It's if you are in a seminar and you have an info night and people were raising hands, you can challenge them on that. Because if I'm having a seminar and you have activities and interaction and people will raise hands, and you can say, okay, yeah, that's why it's very important for you to know to skim through the whole room, and when you say, if you have these symptoms, raise your hand. You must, if you can remember these guys raising their hands, people will come and say, yeah, you attended here and you participated in the whole event and you really identify yourself in need of this, so let me help you out to figure out why you cannot sign. So there is a complete strategy we can discuss if you want to sell $5,000. Also, if you want to run a seminar, you must have people in the back room understand this, because when people come and just, oh, I don't need it, and just gives them the signing sheet, they'll say, oh yeah, thank you, and they will smile. If somebody's trained, they will say, oh, so why you didn't sign up? And they will start to have dialogue. That's why when you have a high ticket item, you'll have too many people in the back room. And I'm not sure how many of you have seen that, but in the very beginning, you'll find these people don't have any value. They're just sitting there, chit-chatting, and once the offer is there, you'll find each one of them is trying to get more people to sign up. If you believe in your service that you take sad face to be a happy face, it's your role to get more sign up to your system. Okay? There is no justifications. And if you don't feel you cannot sell, we have to talk. Okay? Any questions?
The difference between the primary benefit and the secondary benefit offer.
You have more than primary and secondary. You have more benefits because you articulate all of them. But sometimes we give this material and people don't even have primary and secondary. People don't even have benefits. Like if you remember some individuals when they came in here first, they will just talk about features. They will never articulate a benefit. You guys are more ahead because you already have benefits. And you understand there is a 4 classes of benefit. Benefit towards money, towards relationship, towards time, towards efficient process and effective process. So you understand that.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's the primary, secondary.
Each one of these categories, you must have a primary and secondary.
Each one of them.
Each one of them. Preferably, if you can do 3 or 4, it's okay. If you can do 2, it's okay. But you understand what you are missing.
So on a secondary benefit, what are people missing?
If you can say, I can help you make more money, can you say, and I can save you lots of cost or lots of expenses?
That's one way of making more money.
That's one way of making more money. But remember, these guys are ignorant. So these guys are ignorant, and they are in sad face conditions. And they have been sold by so many other people. I had events when individual will come and say, oh yeah, but so-and-so is selling similar program. So my feedback, I say, yeah, I know he's a very good guy. However, did you know anybody in this program made any money? They said, no. I said, you know what? Can I show you these testimonials? And do you recognize some of these people? They said yes. I said, okay, so just read what they say, and please take your time to make a phone call. And then I got Dee emailed me the other day. She said, there are a few people asking about your service. I said, yes, there are 1, 2, 3. She said, yes. I said, yeah, I send them your way. Because I had customers who finished the programs, who made progress, and they are willing to share what the benefit and the advantage and disadvantage of this program. So you can do that if you are selling $5,000 limit plus. But if you are selling $100 or smaller packages, you cannot do that, because the time for you to do that will be so valuable to recruit more people.
I'm just trying to articulate the difference between the primary benefit and the secondary benefit.
You should just have different set of benefits, not only one, primary, secondary, and more benefits. There is no meaning, there is no differentiation between primary and secondary. You should just have orient your mind to have more benefits per category or per class. Okay.
I think I understand it's confusing because I think I felt the same thing in that the benefits, like you can list the benefits, benefit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but if you, as soon as you say secondary, you're saying, okay, this is a primary benefit, and is there a secondary reason that supports the primary?
Okay. If you want to position it this way, you can.
And I could say probably the more people you have in a workshop, the more benefit you'll have from it because there's more interaction and more sharing and more ideas coming to the table. The less people you have, that's not as big a benefit then.
But in this way, you will position yourself as a facilitator to the workshop. The minute you start to talk to people, that's when they sit around the table and they will have more ideas, you are positioned as a facilitator.
Okay.
Okay? So your offer might be, I can facilitate workshops at, because there are some people who will go to the big companies, to the HR and say, I can facilitate an HR workshop for $100 or $1,000 a day. And the company will write them $1,000 a check, and that's it. And they go in, they give the workshop, the company will pay for all the material, and they will walk away with $1,000. Alberta Health Service used to have lots of these people. When they talk about the human colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they used to have lots of these people. They just come in, they facilitate a workshop given by somebody else. I believe this, I remember the name of the company in town. And that's it. They go in, $1,000 a day, and they walk out, and they don't care how many in the room, and they pay like $10 or $20 per workbook. That's it. But in this business, you are facilitator.
Yeah.
You don't own original material.
Mm.
Some of the individuals who came here around the table, I asked, like, why do you keep coming? They said, because you offer original material not seen anywhere else.
Yes.
Maybe 40% of what I offer, maybe 25, maybe 70, I don't know, but some of the materials we discuss around this table is not anywhere. So if you provide solution which somebody else is providing, you can position yourself as a facilitator. The biggest advantage of these discussions and these workshops on a daily basis, we do it weekly or whatever, it should have on the top of your mind language to address and describe your business. So if this is the benefits you thought about saying it, you can, when you get into discussions, you need to have in your back pocket enough vocabulary to fix the customer, just right, to keep saying, to try to overcome his objections. So this is what I hope you facilitate around this table, is you understand this, how you can articulate your offer. Make sense? Okay, how to bring this stuff in a webinar or a seminar? How you bring these objections in a webinar or a seminar?
Well, you just tackle it directly.
How?
You state it and answer it.
So you can have a Q&A slide. Question to whom? To yourself. Who will answer? You. Okay. If you stand in a seminar, don't tell people, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think this program is for you or not? Raise your hand for answer, okay? Don't do that. But you always come and say, I want to share with you some concerns or some questions. And this might be for Rob, this might be important for you.
I see that.
So, is this product ready to launch? Is this product fit the marketplace? Is this product overpriced? Is this service cost too much? Is this service for me? And then you overcome the objections. So in a seminar webinar, you can have a session or a slide on question and answers, right? Frequently asked questions. In a meeting setting, how you can address these objections? By creating a frequently asked questions. And you want to say like, do you have any questions about my offer? The guy is ready to kick you out for no prices, right? They are ready to kick you out without signing this, right? So, do you have any further question? The guy said, oh, no, we have no questions. Okay, let me show you what my other customers or what is my audience.
Generally, this is the questions they ask.
These are the questions asked. And then you can run them through the question one by one. And you can ask a very simple question. Is this relevant to you? Like we make decisions we don't make decisions here. Or we don't need this now. Is this what's on your mind, that you don't need this right now? The guy will say yes. So what you do now? You overcome this objection. So in sales techniques, you should have these frequently asked questions. And you should have enough time to run through them one by one. So what will happen? You can discover the objections and you can overcome it. Does it make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Where else you should have these frequently asked questions? On your website. So you should have frequently asked questions on your website. Where you can get the questions from? What source? Where is the source of the questions? I believe we articulated here about maybe 5. Okay, if I go around the table and ask people, okay, can you give me a second question? You will have 10. Okay, so if you cannot ask your audience why they don't buy, you can basically make up the questions. And when you get some other questions, what you do, you add these frequently asked questions. So if people have concern about your business, if people have concern about you are new, if people have concern that it's only one-man company, if people have concern about you should be able to be proactively answering these objections. Any questions? Does it make sense?
It makes sense.
Can you do it?
Can I do it?
Yeah. Can you sit and write the objections which people will get? If you have the book, which is Sales and the Closing Deals, a workbook, there is lots of about 83, I believe, objections. You can take these objections and make them for yourself, like map them to your service.
There's another little book titled Say No to Me.
Yeah.
It's about that.
Yeah.
It's about looking at people's objections. It's more, say, directed to a multi-level marketing business, but just the same. I think it applies to sales period.
Majority of the objections are the same.
Yeah.
Majority of the objections, it doesn't matter what you sell and how you sell. Majority of the objections are very similar. Very
They're
similar.
emotional, eh?
They are emotional, yeah.
Yeah.
And they usually mean that they need more information, they need more time, they need something different. This is what they usually mean. There is also a say which is no doesn't mean no, that's right? So I say no, it doesn't mean no. No means I'm not ready now. No means I need more information. No means I don't trust you now. No means just I'm looking for some other priorities in my life. But there is a say which no doesn't mean no. So whenever you go into this particular journey of knocking doors, your job is to sort the audience who is willing to buy now and who is not willing to buy. That's all your job. Okay? Does it make sense?
Yeah, because I find sometimes I get no, just not now.
Yeah.
Like I met a guy at the BBB Lunch and Learn 2 years ago. He phoned me up last week and says, we need to talk, we need to sit down.
Yep. And I meet so many of them, like I actually had a customer came in 17 years later. Because I met them again in another event. They remember what I was doing and they came, okay, can you do this? Can you help us with this part? So this was an extreme. However, if we go through and people will say no, you can explore this no by having more questions. So when you sit with people one-on-one sessions and they say, we are not interested, what's your answer? Do you ask them why you are not interested?
Yeah.
And what they say?
90% of the time, they don't know why.
So you should keep asking more questions.
Mhm.
You should keep asking more questions.
It's just resistance, right?
Remember,
So can you go back to the pain points? You know, like,
no, you should keep asking more questions. So if somebody will say, can you start the dialogue? So how you offer them your workshop?
I'm kind of lost right now.
Okay. If you have the dialogue, we can help with the dialogue. But if I offer somebody something and after they experience like 1-2 hours,
Yeah.
and they say, no, I'm not interested to go to this level.
So have an accounting package, and you say, no, not right now.
Yeah, so I will come and say, so why do you think you don't need it right now? Do you have another accountant? Why do you think you don't need it right now? You know that you have to file a year end. And I'm giving you this as, this is where this prices will go. So I'm giving you a package which is $2,000 listed price for $1,500 right now. So what's stopping you from paying from committing for it? Or let's just what's stopping you? If they say I need to think about it, they say, okay, what do you need to think about for? I'm basically charging you once we start to do the work. So why you don't sign up and commit right now? So you got advantage of the discounted price. And when we start, you will be seeing the charges. So this is the ways which you will get more dialogue and overcome the resistance by asking more intelligent questions. What's holding you from signing in right now? What's holding you from saying yes? Do you need more information? Are you clear on the offer? So what's holding you from signing? Are you clear on the offer? What's holding you? Do you need more information? Can you articulate to me back what your experience right now? If the guys will come and say, yeah, I had the session, I felt, I know my problems, I know my pain points, so the immediate question is why you don't want to sign up for the workshop so you get rid out of the pain point and you will have a tool which you will use for the rest of your life. So you must practice these dialogues, and when you come and say it, you have to be able to say it in a very steady state voice. You don't rush, you don't overwhelm them with information. You have to be your own. You pause and then you ask more questions. Does it make sense?
There comes a point when you might be too pushy.
I am not too pushy, but I know if I leave the room, what will happen. The windows open and more flies can get in. If a customer will sit with you on the table, around the table for like a couple of hours, and they ask you for a quote, like anybody will call me, and I had actually yesterday, somebody sent me an email and said, I would like to get a quote on this particular training. I said, I'm not tell me more. I'm not offering you a quote because I'm not putting myself into a position where I put a quote against somebody else's quote. If you have a different offer, just to go with the other offer. Don't waste my time. However, if somebody's spending with you 2 hours, 3 hours, and they see the value, and they don't want to move to the next step, the question is why they don't want to move. If they repeat the objection 3 times, it means what?
They have no money.
It means real.
Mm.
It means they know that this is.
It means real.
Yeah.
But with the first objection happen, how to overcome it? You overcome it by asking more questions.
Mm-hmm.
The second time they have the objection, how you can overcome it? By keep asking more questions. Now, these questions will do 2 things. Maybe you are sucks. Maybe you sucked, man. How did we know you have the good session? Maybe you're not in the mood. Maybe you are tired. Maybe you have 20,000 other things running in your head. Maybe you did not reflect nicely. Who knows? So use this as experience to help you making a better delivery to the next level. That's right. Or the customer has an issue. So when you ask more questions, you ask questions about the values the customer has. Did they feel the experience? Did they know they need it? Did they feel any time they want to leave? At that point, you make sense. Some of the customers we have as well, which we talked about it more in the sales and the closing deal. Some of them are tribunal, which basically you need to tell them, let's sign together.
You're what? Try what?
Let's sign together.
Like tribe.
Like tribe. Like they don't have the initiatives
Oh, okay.
to sign on their own. Okay? Some customers will take the initiative to sign, or they say no. So when I deal with individuals, especially people coming in depression mode, they will be confused. They will not feel they have the strength to sign up for a service. There was I can share with you a story to show you how people are really hesitant. Before Christmas time, somebody called me and said this lady has a big issue and she has a big domestic violence and her husband is away and she wants a divorce. And I said, okay, we can meet her and help her with it. So she came in and we sat for like 4 hours. And this was like 17, 18 of December. And said, okay, here's my phone number. You can call me if you need any support. And we have these people who will do this paperwork for you. And this is as a not-for-profit human rights organization. We do this work. Then, January 11, January 12, I got a phone call from the same lady who was supposed to call me back in December. She said, I was thinking about it. I'm very certain he's coming back in 2 weeks. I want to do this paperwork. I said, okay. So she had a medical doctor notes, and this guy abused her before she travels. He travels away, and she's so concerned. She has actually anxiety, and she cannot sleep because she's so scared. I said, yes, great. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. You go talk to Calgary Legal Guidance. So she went into Calgary Legal Guidance. They told her the same clarity of the steps we told her she has to take. And her friends are telling her she calls the police. We told her, like, you cannot call the police because this guy is not urgent, it's not life-threatening, but you need to go and get this paperwork done in the court. And you can go in the morning. You don't need us. You can go and get it in the court. Why do you need us? We are here only for support. And then she kept calling. At the end of the note, to make it a boring story, guys, this lady called like 9 days in January. Every other day or every day. And some days she called so often. The question is, did she go to the court to get an order? Till today, she didn't. The minute I told her, okay, we can meet you. I will send one of my partner will meet her in the court, so can we stand with her in line? We are not doing anything. We're just making, emotional support. That's it. You need somebody to support you in this. I'm not sure how many of you went through this court proceeding in any capacity, but you need somebody beside you. That's it. The lady went into nerve breakdown, and she was transferred by the ambulance to the emergency. Because it was so simple for her that even somebody, this was a lady actually will help her and will go with her, stand in line to make sure she is her if she needs her. She got basically a nerve breakdown because she cannot imagine she can do this step. She needs a step. The police told her to do it. The doctors told her to do it. 3 lawyers told her to do it. All of her friends told her to do it. She needs a step, but she cannot take it. So this kind of people, if you want them to sign up, you must tell them, let's sign together. You cannot tell them sign. They will never sign. Let me help you sign here. So this will work in the one-on-one. So when somebody, when I signed with people, I say let's get you sign here. Let's sign together. I give them the pen and they will sign. On the other hand, there are these white hat people who are like you sell them under their mercy. So for a white hat guy, you cannot tell him, let's sign. You tell them, would you mind, please sign here. They will sign. I beg you to sign here, they will sign.
A white hat person?
Yes.
I never heard that before.
They see themselves as a hero.
Oh, do you see themselves as a hero?
Yes. If you go to the thousands of dollars offers, you will meet lots of them.
Well, for me, white hat is confusing because white hats are the guys that run the show.
This is what we call them a white hat. In the workshop or in the educational online, when you talk about sales, there are 16 types of buyers. We are fortunate not to meet the 16. We usually have 4 to 5. But if I go across of the table, you guys will have a collective 16 different buyers. So there are people who are commanding, there are leaders, and there are people who are greedy, people who need everything for cheap, everything for lower cost, everything they need. So, and
They have a list
and
of those? That's
oh yeah,
16?
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah,
I'd like to see that list.
yeah. It's actually inside the workbook, which is sales and the closing deal. It's listed over here. Sales and the closing
I
deal.
don't think you joined when we did that.
Oh, okay.
So add-on benefit.
Like the greedy people is very tough because they need to have benefits, they need to have negotiations, they need to feel. And by the way, I dealt with all of you guys, and I don't want to tell you which kind of the 16 you are, but we have to be aware that we are one of these 16, one or two of these 16, based on different modes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can self-identify yourself, you can tell how painful to sell to get you to buy anything. So it will help you when you stand in front of somebody exactly like you to make it simple for them to sign. When we sell this or we talk about this personality issues, it's not for us to go and judge people outside. It's just to be self-aware of who we are. And then we need to change when we meet somebody else. So there are individuals, when you tell them, don't worry, they will take care of you. I will take care of you. The things will grow, they will sign up. And there are individuals who need to have details. How many courses, how often, how many steps, can I have the schedule, both of them are right. No wrong, no right.
Just different personality.
Different personality. There are people who, if they don't get value all the time and they don't feel they have a special treatment, they will not continue. So you have to be ready to give them extra value all the time. You have to be ready for them. I lost one customer, which was very funny, because these customers basically, they had a plan to go through the holiday season somewhere. And then they decided not to go. So they want to work on their business now. And I had my own plans. So when they made the phone call and they said, yeah, can we really work during this week? I said, yeah, I had this week. However, I have this plan in this particular parts, so I'm not around. So I interact with them a couple of days, and then I went for my own thing. And I came back 3 days later, and I said, oh, we want to discontinue your service because you are not around. First of all, I never commit to you that I will be around during holiday season or Christmas season.
That's your whim.
Okay? However, I accommodated you when I need it. When I can, I accommodate you because my goal is to help people businesses. It's not money will come, money will come. However, if I help people and people will push them and give them to make more money, I will be fulfilled and they will come pay me. So when I have time and I can allocate it, I control my time very well, I would prefer to give it to somebody who needs this time. But when I need to be with my family on this other time, I am not around. So it was so funny that these people felt I was not here for them. I basically, when I came back, the message I got, oh, we now got your attention because we said we are canceling the program. I said, I did not even reply to that. I said, like, let's meet to identify your, understand the problem. Oh, we don't have time to meet. I said, okay, that's great. Don't worry. Whenever you feel you want to meet, just let me know. So this perception, I was not responsible for it because I was very clear. You were actually going for a trip and you cancel it for any reason. You don't respect my time. And when I was clear that I only have these 2 days or have this, and sometimes I share with some of you like my exact schedule, I have to do this here and there. It's just because I believe if I'm open enough and you appreciate what's my priority, we will come up to a specific time we can deal with together and we can work together. So these individuals, they need more babysitting. And I fired about 5 or 6 over the last year from my group, because I don't have time for more than enough babysitting. Okay, there is a limitation for that. But this is a class of buyers, which is only one of the 16. They need to be bombarded. They need to ask. There is also the class of shrewdness, which is somebody keep asking questions for unknown reason. Like the questions will cycle, and I'm not sure if you got any of these. They just repeat questions, nonsense questions. They ask so many questions about the program and they don't even find a way to sign. And these people I avoid on purpose. Because if somebody keep asking, imagine this table if somebody will keep asking questions. If somebody will keep question every single thing we do and every single thing we'll say, what will happen to your time, guys?
Slow it down.
It will be a waste of time. So when somebody asks for a clarification or bring a point and then we can discuss it as a group, it's great. But if somebody will keep asking and it's challenging, you may remember some of the people who just, it's challenge about everything. Like when we say, oh, they challenge every single thing we say.
Yeah, I was here.
So these people, they cannot be in a group. They can either afford.
They hold up the whole flow.
Well,
Yeah.
They want to assert their expertise, basically. So they're kind of the one that we're thinking of is a business coach. Also, feels probably that he could do what Wael is doing, so he's asserting his own kind of thing. It was an interesting dynamic, anyways.
Oh, this is the guy. I was talking about the lady. There was another lady which is.
Well, we've got 2 now.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, any questions? And then we go and talk about a little bit about the features, and then we can discuss the guarantees, and then we'll discuss how people can sign up on this sheet. Okay?
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.